Okay, welcome everyone. I'm so glad to see your happy faces, and I'm super excited for those of you who are on here tonight. I know some people will be watching the recording as well, but welcome, welcome. We have a special treat tonight. We have a Pro 10. Isn't that amazing? We have a Pro 10, Amy Holmwood, sharing us with us tonight. And I have just a little bit of her background, but she's the main thing is that she's in our LifeVantage family. And not only is she in our LifeVantage family, but I'm going to get choked up because Amy has really, she's really put forth 100% in LifeVantage. And she's partly responsible for where we're at in LifeVantage because she has just really put forth her best effort. She does a lot of traveling all over the world. She's invested in her education. I mean, she studied at um, George Washington University in international business, executive education at Harvard, biotechnology at Johns Hopkins University. She lives in Bethesda, Maryland. But I mean, I've seen Amy for years, like going to this country, going to that country, and just really paving the way for what we have today in LifeVantage. And sorry for getting so emotional, Amy, but for that, I'm just like forever grateful for what you have invested into our company and into our lives. And so I'm just going to turn the time over to you. So thanks, Amy, so much for joining us tonight.
Julie, thank you for saying that. And I feel the same way about you. And that's why I just love this community of just heart-centered people that really care about helping others and also just, making the best of their own lives. And I think that is what keeps inspiring me to be a part of the company because the community is so rich. And it's an interesting business, right? We were just talking about that before the recording started. It's not for everybody, and it's something that when you get excited about something, I have a mentor that I follow, and she always talks about when you have a business, is it something that solves a problem for you? It's kind of the first question. Does whatever that product or service become solve a problem for you that that you're going to utilize? And so, one of the things Julie asked me to talk about a little bit was my experience with the LifeVantage products in a compliant way. Whatever I'm going to say today will not be intended to treat, cure, heal, or mitigate any disease. But I did have some health issues, you guys. And, we're all faced with, as we get older, things start to show up. And in our families and in our communities, everyone needs to know about this information. I was somebody who was a business person and was also somebody that was suffering from Lyme disease. And so it kind of was a problem for me in my business because I was in a very stressful industry of financial services, and it's a lot of pressure. And I had to ask myself, was this something that I wanted to continue pursuing for the rest of my life with that kind of stress level? And also having Lyme disease really impacts your nervous system. So when I looked at LifeVantage and I looked at the information that was given to me, the ABC News report, and we have so much more information today, all the peer-reviewed studies and everything, it was compelling to me. So much so that I was intrigued by the business, not just as a user or a consumer. About 80% of all of our revenue in the company, which is like 250 million of revenue, but about 80% of that just comes from customers. And we could all just be customers too. We are customers, right? But then we also have an opportunity to look at a business. So once I started using Protandim, and at the time when I started 8 years ago, all we had was Protandim Nerve 2 activator. And then we had the Protandim skincare, which is True Science, just the cream, just the anti-aging cream. And then we had the Pet Tandem. And that was it. And we were $100 million company when I started. And so I was just promoting the Protandim Nerve 2. And I got to pretty much like Pro 8, just really promoting that because I had such an amazing health experience with that product, and learning about the science of Nerve 2 activation was so intriguing to me that I was able to build a business. So you guys, we have everything we need just with that one product, but we have all these other products now that are really all phenomenal. And, maybe we don't use all of them, You don't have to use all of them, but each of us uses, shampoo, we use deodorant, we use skincare, we use things that, why not use cleaner products? So I thought from a business perspective, as long as this was something that solved a problem for me, that was that first question, you know, that was something that was exciting to me. And so because I needed Protandim Nerve 2. And I was taking 20 to 30 other supplements to try to reduce inflammation in my body. And I was getting these recommended supplements from doctors. So I was going to naturopaths. I was also going to rheumatologists. I was going to neurologists. I was also going to therapists because I had a lot of anxiety from Lyme disease. It attacks the nervous system and it creates a tremendous amount of anxiety. So I don't know if you guys know people that have anxiety at all. I think it's kind of a big disorder today. I wasn't interested in taking any medication for that. And really, through the Nerve 2 activation, the power of that has really been a game changer for from that perspective. And I noticed that pretty quickly. Again, not intended to treat, cure, heal, or mitigate, but when you can take a load off of oxidative stress off your body, things really change. So that became really intriguing to me from a business perspective. Like, how many other people in the world, since we know that the number one drugs today are all around reducing anxiety and really depression. You guys know it used to be cholesterol medications. Like 10 years ago, it was all the Crestor, Lipitor. It was all those were the number one. Now it's all anti-anxiety medication. So everyone in the world needs to know about Nerve 2 activation because we're all suffering from this and we know people that are. So, does it solve a problem for me? Yes. Do I need to take these kinds of products for the rest of my life? Absolutely. Do we need to activate our DNA to get better health? We know for sure we can change gene expression just from the foods that we eat, the way we exercise, the way we take supplements. We can change the expression of genes. That's a huge category from a business perspective. People don't know about that, and they're learning, a little bit more. People that are tuned into health are starting to hear a little bit more about that. So I think we're still are at the beginning stages of being able to tell this story even a more easy way. So I never want anyone to stop talking about the science. And I know we all get trained in different ways, and we get attached to different leaders in the company based on the way they tell the stories. So never feel like you have to tell it one way or whatever works for you, I think is the most important thing. For me, I wouldn't still be saying yes to Julie when she asks me to come on to one of your trainings if it wasn't for the science and the results that I've had with the products, because they still work for me really, really well. And I haven't stopped using them. And I would be, if I was someone where I thought there was something better, I would use that because I care more about my health than I do about building LifeVantage. I care about my health for me and my family more than supporting the company. And so everything I do is truly based on the truth of how I feel about our products and also our company and the people involved in the company. So it's really something unique. And when we hear about today, New York Times article talked about how there's going to be a huge problem in the in companies because people are leaving their jobs. It was just front and center. High level people are not excited about their jobs anymore because they've got to stay home and work from home. Either they learned a new skill. Didn't we all, like, everybody should do a thumbs up? Didn't we all learn something during COVID about like another technology? Or maybe you took an online class or you did something where you learned something about yourself that you might be able to utilize in a business that might make you more excited about something. And I think in our industry, certainly there are a lot of people that have learned that maybe they could work from home. Maybe it's more efficient to be working from home than driving on the freeway for 2 hours from, Hagerstown to Bethesda, for example, in Maryland, which is where I used to live. So everyone's just rethinking all this. So I think we really have an opportunity today as well to be able to say, hey, you've learned new skills. There's a whole world out there where we can work in a different way. And let's not just go back to the way it was. And let's take advantage of the timing and also know that there are other people that are interested in hearing about this kind of information, because it's a fact right now that people are re-looking at where they are in their lives from a career, how much time they want to spend with their families. Maybe they want to go I was just talking about my garden because we sat outside in Utah, and last year we replanted some new flowers. We put some new stuff in, and there were things that I wanted, like I wanted lupin, but there's only one plant. Well, you know why? Because last year you couldn't get lupin in Utah because everybody was replanting their gardens. Like there were so totally sold out plants. We could just get what we could get, and industries have changed, right? People want to be outside more. Like try to get an outdoor fireplace. I mean, you're going to have like a 6-month wait, right? Because people want to live differently. So there has never been a better time for us to look at our business and to be able to bring people into it. So yeah, can you be excited about this for a really, really long time? You know, is this something you can be excited about for a really long time? And for me, it is. And I think you have to ask yourself that question in your business, like, or even in your career that you're in, whatever it is that you're doing besides LifeVantage, is that something you can be excited for a really, really long time? And so once you get over the fear part of building a LifeVantage business and talking to people and just kind of figuring out how to be comfortable with that part, when that gets easier, it makes it easier to be excited about this because you kind of overlook the part that's hard and you start to have the benefits of the feelings of how good it feels to have a successful business with this. But you have to do the hard part. You can't go through this without the hard part. And that's where the personal growth part comes in. So for me, that checked the box, right? Can I be excited about this for a really, really long time? Can I be excited about sharing the same story over and over and over again for 8 years without changing it? Because we wanted to be able to transfer. We want to be able to teach people how to tell a story in their own words. Can you be excited about saying the same thing over and over again? For me, I'm absolutely just as excited about telling it every single time because I know that it's going to help somebody. And I'm still excited for me because I feel like we haven't really scratched the surface of our potential as a company. So it's almost like, when you hear about things like Apple and companies where people they just buy in, they have that belief. And with our company, we've seen a lot of different leaders as executives come and go, right? But we've seen the leaders, the pro 10s, the pro 9s. We've seen the people that have stayed, like Julie. They're still here. They haven't left the company. Do you guys know how rare that is in a network marketing company? Do you guys realize there's such turnover in this industry within the networks as well? Because they jump to the next company that has the next, exciting thing. Well, with us, we know we're still excited about this because we haven't scratched the surface of our potential. And it's real. It's not some Me Too fruit or something. So, if you guys, you have to have your own personal desire for this really to come true for you, because it does take that effort every day to just have that excitement that what you have is important. It needs to be told and shared, and that it's worth it to go out of your comfort zone to do that. And then the third component is, is it financially worth your while to do this? Because time is money. We all know that. You could be putting your time into something else. But if it's something that solves a problem for you and it's something that you can be excited about and you can make, whatever the income is that you're looking for, it doesn't have to be to pro 10. It can be whatever you want it to be, right? I need an extra $3,000 a month. I need an extra $2,000 a month. Whatever that number is totally achievable based on effort that needs to be put into this. And so when you think about those three components, is it worth your time? It's absolutely worth your time to do this. I'm still in school. My husband tonight, he was like, why are you still like the degree I'm doing my master's degree. It's not going to change anything. It's not like you're going to go get a job somewhere and you're going to be able to get more income or something from that. It's nothing to do with that. It's just that learning and knowing that you're on the right path because you just keep learning more. And for me, that's something that I really am passionate about. I'm learning so much about business right now in like the health space and how it's all changing. And you guys, we are so right on. My professor, we had a class I'm doing right now. We had a question, which was, what's the value of something to you? Okay. And he used wine as an example. And it's a economics and finance class in the biotech space. So it talks about, what's the value of something. And it was about wine. It was like some wine that was like $3,000 a bottle. And why is it worth that? And so at the end, he had said, well, I don't care about wine. I could be a $15 bottle. I don't care, but other people are willing to pay that. And I said, what is valuable to you? I asked the question and he sent me an answer. What's valuable to me is time with my family, time to do the things I love, and the ability to do whatever I want whenever I want. Okay. That was the answer from my professor. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, right? So I responded, I have the answer for you, but you might not like it, right? I have the answer for you, but you might not like it. We have the answer, but people don't like the answer, right? Do we find that people don't like the answer? We have the solution, you guys, for somebody that wants that. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to see what he says. I have the answer, but you might not like it, right? Because we do. And when you drill down, like, that's a really good question to ask people. What is of value to you? Like when you're talking to prospects and you're talking to people that you want to share this with, what's valuable to you? What do you value most? Right? They're going to say family, health, and then we want to go deeper, because I think it's important to try to go deeper and ask a lot of questions, because that's where you get the information to be able to help solve people's problems. And that's really all we're doing. We're just solving problems for people. If they don't have a problem, we don't need to give them the solution, because they don't have any problems, right? So we're just fulfilling people's needs. And you are, I don't care what anybody says, you're a promoter, you're a salesperson, you're promoting yourself, you're promoting what we have. If you're not promoting, you're not going to build a big business. But you don't have to do it in a way that feels promoting. You just have to have your solid belief that you know what's worked for you and what you are looking for. What do you value, right? When you ask the person what they value, and they can say, and then you say, well, let me tell you why I'm telling you why I wanted to meet with you about LifeVantage and our products and also the business. It's because this is what I value too. This is how I was looking at my life. And this was going to solve some problems for me with regard to what I value. And that's what I'm focusing on now, is what's important for me and my family. And like, how do I want to live for the next 20 years? And I think you can have that conversation today with people. I think they're much more open to it, because people have slowed down a little bit and they are reevaluating. So I don't see there's a better time for us, Julie, really, to build this business, honest to God, so that's why I have another training with the Taiwan team tonight, at 11 o'clock tonight. And it's like, same thing over there. It's like everywhere in the world, this is same feelings of, of just wanting to make it count, wanting to make it count. So there may be some questions, or if you want me to talk about, any other things, there's one more thing that I was actually looking at today that I'll mention. 51% of the wealthy people in this country, people that have, enough money, they don't have to worry. They started businesses. They had businesses. They didn't work for anybody else. So, and then 49% of the people were either senior executives or some kind of virtuosos, right? Or else they were really good at saving money. Like 20% of their income, they saved. So they could save enough. If they worked somewhere, whatever their career is, they save 20% of that check every single month. And over their working life, they were able to save enough money to retire, because they did that consistently. But then there's that 51% that started businesses that actually created an asset that would generate revenue that was different than just making income from a job. So I really invite you guys to look at that and think about that, because if over half the world, that's not just in the United States, half the world had to start businesses to create wealth, that's something you need to pay attention to. And even if it's just a little LifeVantage business, that can change your life and make you financially secure if you put the time in and follow, Julie and her leadership, because she knows what she's doing. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you, Amy. That was awesome as usual. And I have some good notes, and just, love your points And we solve solutions for people, and this is a solution for us. That's so true, so good. So, hey, if you have a question, you can unmute yourself or type it in the chat box. Pro 10 here tonight, guys. This doesn't happen very often, so let's take advantage of it. So, anybody have a question or comment?
Hey, Amy, this is Melissa.
Hello, Melissa.
Hi. So I realize probably one of my biggest problems is I probably talk too much. And I just wondered if there was something that would help me. And I've actually really been working the app to try to just really make things quick and to the point. And so just
How's
any nuggets on that.
Yeah, how is the app working for you?
Well, I have been really trying to focus on putting at least 3 people in there a day. And just, getting a notification that they actually watched a video has been pretty exciting for me. And just, following the process. But sometimes I feel like, well, what if I don't say this? What if they make this decision and I didn't provide them enough information? So like I'm the expert.
Yeah, I mean, you can sit there and analyze all this, like, which is 90% of it wrong, what you're analyzing. I mean, when someone watches a video, they're going to have their own ideas of what it's about, and you might be thinking something completely different. So more than anything, it's asking questions and not talking so much. So being somewhat inquisitive about where they're at and not being afraid to do that, because I think a lot of times it's just like nervous energy that we feel that we have to talk because we feel that space gets filled up. You don't want to hear someone to say, no, I wasn't interested. So you just talk instead, which is really a natural human instinct, but it's not the one that works the best. So I would just say less is more, Melissa. Asking a question, what, what intrigued you? I know you watched the video. Was there, what was it that intrigued you about the information? Can you give me a little, I saw that you watched the video, what was that was most interesting to you about that? And just even with a text after they watch the video, and they'll usually say something, they'll usually respond. I think getting more into an engaging conversation what they thought was interesting is more important than you telling them what you think is interesting, right?
True. Yes.
And because you didn't get a chance, if they watch the video and then you said, and you feel like they didn't get enough information and you're going to tell them more about it, that's not going to work because they don't trust what you say. Okay. You're not like, you didn't go, I don't know what you did for, maybe you're a doctor or maybe you're somebody that what's your background?
I'm in the financial industry.
Okay. So it has nothing to do with health.
Banking industry, yeah, I should say.
Totally no clue, right? We didn't learn anything. So you're not you could speak to the money part, right?
Right.
Hey, listen, I'm not a scientist, and all I can tell you is I know people are making a lot of money at this business, and all you have to do is if you want to read more about the science, which is what I did, but I'm not going to try to tell you why. Here's some information, take a look at it. But if you try to sell the science, that's really not your job. Your job, you are the messenger, not the message. Okay. You're just conveying information that somebody else is going to tell. And it's going to be a 3-way call where somebody else tells the information, or it's going to be more data, peer reviewed research or something where the person, if they're really interested, they'll take a look at that part. And you don't know if they're interested in the science or the money part. You have no idea. They might watch the video and go, oh my God, we could make a fortune in this. And they don't care at all about the science. So don't read into what people are thinking. Just ask those questions. What was it that was most interesting to you? And ask the questions. And they might say nothing. I'm not interested at all. And then, okay, why, if somebody says that, I'll ask, is there anything about your health you want to improve? Because most people will say, most people have something, right? And so that opens that up too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I like that question. Is there anything about your health you want to improve? That's good. I see there's another question here. Would you share your daily method of operation?
Yeah, at this point, my daily method is really doing these kinds of trainings. And then following up with people. I have, customers, I have distributors that I'm working with. And there's no set schedule like there used to be in the beginning. In the beginning, it was very, very, meticulous. It was, I had my, 3 exposures every day. I would send that information to 3 people. And then I used to use and I mean, I could start doing this again. I still am bringing new people into the business. I actually want to win that trip to Mexico. And I still need to recruit. I need to bring 2 more distributors to get those 3 points. You have to have 15 new people. Anyway, and I still have to grow another $25,000 of new volume and a new leg. I still haven't totally hit that yet. But when in the beginning, I had a card, the 3x5 card little box.
Yeah.
I wasn't using I like physical, like touching and seeing versus, and even though I'm pretty good with technology and stuff like that. And I mean, I've used Constant Contact, all these different things from my other business. So I know how to use it, but I like that 3x5 cards where I'll put the person's name. Now the app has kind of solved this. The app is really where I would go as opposed to using the 3x5 cards, but it's the same kind of concept. Writing down, when you talk to somebody, what you sent them, put the date, if you ask questions, what the names of their kids, what's important to them, what resonated with them, write those things down so you remember. And then a follow-up time. When am I going to talk to you again? And then I would put it in the, it would be 1 through 31 little tabs. And I would just put in, like, I have to call someone on the 16th. I would have 5 cards in there on the 16th. And I would see, I need to call these people because that's when I told them I was going to follow up. So like for me, that worked really well. If you have like on your calendar, you could have that too. And it will tell you in the morning, call these people. But then you want notes, right? You want to remember, oh, how's little Harry's, whatever, bowling. I don't know. There's people, all kinds of things you want to remember that their families do and stuff. So I think those things are super important. So it was just really doing for 3 years. It was just live meeting every single week. I had a meeting at my house, or I would go do a meeting somewhere. I would do 1 live meeting a week for sure. I was also doing Zooms even back then, when we started, and also doing the follow-ups and just continuing to recruit. I never got into management mode and I still have not. I am not a good manager. I don't try to manage my teams. I've taught people, like, when you become a Pro 5, you have your own trainings, and you have your own Facebook groups and stuff like that. I never wanted to be a manager, and so I've built my business that way. And so I have leaders that run their businesses. I check in with them once a week, make sure I follow up and say, what can I do to help you with business this month? That kind of thing. But I've gotten to a place where I don't really use social media to build my business. So it's not something that I'm attached to. I do post things and they're part of the attraction marketing, but I haven't used that to build my business. It's just more to just edify that, what my story is. I'm into health and things like that. But I don't know if that answers your question, but it's really more than anything, it's just continuing to recruit and using the app. I think you're going to have a much better, faster experience than what we started with, 8 years ago. Right?
Right. Very good. Okay. Ashley has a question on the products. She says, I have a girl who was who she was talking to in the health space, who follows a diet to lower oxidative stress. She says she looked into Protandim and then it's not recommended to activate the body daily, according to some study out there or something.
Okay, so in her diet, she's switching days when she reduces oxidative stress. So she eats like Cheetos, like on off days. I mean, seriously, it's okay. There are people who believe that you don't want to activate Nerve2 every day, but just exercising, walking, like doing certain things is going to activate that pathway. You want that pathway turned on, and it's not over activating it because you just can't unless you take like a medication that does that. So the way that Protandim Nerve2 works is it's pulsatile. It only activates for a little and then it goes back down again. And it's a natural activation and it won't over activate. Like if somebody takes 5 Protandims, It can't, it only activates to that level that it's even one pill does. It doesn't build up in your system. So I've never been worried about taking it every day. If some people want to space it out, I've had other, I've worked with a lot of doctors, and sometimes they'll just rotate their supplements with their clients. So every, the protocol is like every 10 days, go off it for like 3 or 4 and then go back on it again. Or every 5 days, go off it for 1 day. If like somebody wants to do that, they can do that. But that's not necessary with Protandim. But, I'm not a doctor. We don't have research that shows long-term trials where the people used it every day and it was safe. What we have is showing that if you take 1 pill a day and you took 5 pills a day, it doesn't make a difference. It just activates it for like that 2 hours and then it stops. Okay. So that's what it does. So I think you're safe no matter what you do.
Amy, I've heard the same thing that, and I don't think, it's like you said, drugs are probably totally different than Protandim, but I've heard also that Protandim works in that fashion, where it pulsates and, it's like an up and down thing. So it's not like it's activated 100%, all throughout the day. That would be completely different.
Exactly.
So that would be something maybe to be concerned about. But with ours, we just really have a gold mine with Protandim. I mean, it's just amazing.
I
So
learned that as well. If you see in research where it says that taking and using it every day like that, keeping it up is a bad thing, it's partially because, and Amy, you'll agree with this, I'm sure that those studies are being done with synthetic versions of NRF2.
Yes.
They're not being done with what we have. And yes, synthetically raising your NRF2, there's no pulsatile effect. It's on, and it would be like, leaving the light on all the time, right? Is that?
Yeah, that's right. Then that's what some of the drugs that have been developed, bardoxolone, methyl, and Tecfidera, and things like that. Some of the NRF2 activation drugs have had that issue, and that's where it starts to become a very have some negative side effects in certain diseases and things like that. But again, we're not doctors, and this is recorded, but it's a natural activation, exactly what Renee just said, which is completely different. It's like having cruciferous vegetables that activate NRF2, but which is what basically our product is, all natural product that's using plant phytonutrients to activate NRF2. And so, turmeric, it's like going to an Indian restaurant and having the exact recipe, right, to activate NRF2 more powerfully than your body just doing it on its own by like going for a run or something. Like when you were younger, it just brings it back to that level when you were younger, where it activated naturally when your child ate a bowl of broccoli, okay, and it activated NRF2. So that's what we want, because we can't eat enough broccoli today as we get older to be able to get that activation, because it slows down like a spigot that starts to tighten, and it's just a drip, drip, drip. So, if you want to eat 5 pounds of broccoli every day, knock yourself out. But I'd rather take a Protandim NRF2 personally.
yeah, me too. Hey, thank you so much, Amy.
You're
This is
welcome.
amazing. I mean, we could go on here for hours, but I know you have a busy schedule. And anyway, but is there any words that you wanted to leave us with before we close out the call tonight?
Just the most important thing, you guys, is just making a decision. Just making that decision about where you are in your life today and how you're going to, there's a reason that you learned about this. There's a reason you're on this call tonight. You're part of the community, and just make the most of it, because everybody is at a place in their lives right now where they really do want to learn about these kinds of things. So, put yourself out there a little bit more than you did before. And I think we have sort of a license to do that today, because you can even say, people are looking for stuff like this. Before they weren't so much, but I don't know. Do you mind if I share something I'm pretty excited about? Because people know that people are looking for stuff like this. So make sure you mention that, because it makes it seem easier for people to believe that maybe they could build a business like this, right? And it's true. I do think it's going to be easier. So those are my words of wisdom. Put yourself out there a little bit more. Make a decision that, this is something that you really want to succeed at. From a business perspective, because you guys deserve it, and we all deserve to have that financial freedom that takes the stress off in our lives, to be able to enjoy the things we love, to be able to spend more time with the people we love, and to be able to do whatever it is that you love to do. And don't forget about those things, because you deserve to do those things. And I hope you get to.
Well, thank you, Amy. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's just been a real honor to have you on here. And I look forward to seeing you at one of the events, maybe a convention. So
Yep.
you're living in Utah now? I didn't realize you
Yeah,
moved.
we're in Park City. Yeah, we've been here since for about a year, but we still have a place back in Maryland, but we're kind of going back and forth. Yeah, we're out here full time now. So it's really been
in
great.
Salt Lake. Is it is
No, up in Park City, up in the mountains.
Park City. Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Beautiful area.
Yeah, it's
So
great.
great. Well, thank you so much. And I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I do want to just briefly mention that don't forget, this weekend is LifeVantage Academy. So if you have not registered for that, you definitely want to register for that. And I know in Kansas City, they're having a get together and watching it together, which is awesome. And then of course we have our July 10th Elite Academy and our convention coming up in October. And we have our June month of action, which is really helping me to finally kind of really get accustomed to using the app more. And I love how it helps you to be organized, and like Amy was talking about. So it has a lot of great features, and it's just an extra motivation to do the things that we should be doing to grow our business anyway. So thank you all so much. It's great to see all of you, and we'll see you again next week. So thank you, Amy. Love
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Thanks, you guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.